Hi everyone, it's Mary from Joyful and Mary Quilting, and welcome to this month's session of Mary's Threads, Ask a Quilter. In today's session, we have 4 letters. One is about how to avoid the next quilting holiday rush. One is about gifting quilts to the right people, One is about letting go of old projects, and one is about staying calm when mistakes happen. This is a place where we celebrate the way you quilt, and we say goodbye to the guilt and pressure that too often sneaks into our sewing rooms. Each one of us brings a different style, different preferences, different experience levels, and our own beautiful quilting personalities to the table. So what is our motto? We love how we quilt, we are done with guilt, and we kindly don't care what others think we should do. Now I'm going to keep the letters anonymous for privacy, but I'll give each quilter a fun pseudonym that fits their story. Let's start off with letter number 1 from Santa's Sweatshop Survivor. Dear Mary, every January I tell myself I won't take on big projects close to the holidays. Don't we all? I'll start them early, I'll pace myself, and I will save the holiday season for fun, family, and festivities. But each year, every year, I end up frantically finishing my quilting gifts through the holiday season. I'm exhausted. I can't enjoy the holidays. How do I stop doing this to myself? Dear Santa Sweatshop Survivor, I get it. In fact, I think we all do. In a perfect world, if we knew exactly what holiday gifts we plan to make and give away early in the year, we would be able to set goals, schedule our time, and really finish our projects well before the holiday season. But this is not a perfect world. And oftentimes those wonderful ideas don't show up until it's almost too late to make them. So as quilters, of course, we love a challenge, but we also need to set some rules to help us survive the season. And this is the time to do it. Here's what I do. Start now and set a firm mid-November cutoff date for holiday quilting projects. That includes decorations, gifts, and favors. And at the top of the list are the items that will take the most time to complete: quilts, wall hangings, etc. Schedule your time to work on them throughout the year. That's what's so important. Schedule your time. The rest of the items that pop up along the way take a back seat to those with top priority. So once you have your list, as an item is finished, others can be added to that to-do list, but only if they can be completed by that November cutoff date. Then get to work. Those projects that are not finished by the cutoff date become an after the new year gift. Your loved ones will still feel the love, and you'll actually get to enjoy the season guilt-free. It's February, it's time to set those goals, it's time to take a look at those projects and get that schedule going. You will be so grateful come November. Letter number 2 from Regretful Gifter. Dear Mary, I gave a quilt to someone who didn't seem to appreciate it. It's now used as a blanket for their dog. I was crushed. How do you decide who gets a quilt? Regretful Quilter. Dear Regretful Quilter, first of all, I am so sorry you felt your gift of a beautiful handmade quilt was not appreciated. As quilters, it is so hard for us to even imagine that a quilt wouldn't be loved and wanted. But I've come to terms with the fact that really there are some who are simply not interested in handmade gifts. So how do we know whether or not our quilt will be loved and appreciated before we take the time and the effort to make it and then gift it? The answer is very simple. Before you even select the fabric or sew the first seam, ask yourself, has this person ever shown genuine excitement about handmade items, or specifically my handmade items? Why is that important? You know what? When someone values your work, they'll treasure it. If not, it could end up in a dog bed, in the trunk of a car, or on the shelf of a closet. So, are you not sure? Ask them. Ask someone who knows them well if you can't ask them personally. And then if you discover that they're not interested in the gift of a quilt or a handmade item, don't be offended. Give them something they will appreciate and love. There is nothing wrong with being selective as to where your quilts will go. You'll be happier and they will be happier. Letter number 3. This is from Too Many UFOs. UFO meaning unfinished objects. Dear Mary, I have a stack of unfinished quilt tops from over 10 years ago. Some I no longer love, but you know what? I feel really guilty about not finishing them. Any ideas? Signed, Too Many UFOs. Here's my reply. Here are a few of my UFOs that are in my closet. We all have them. A quilt that gets started and then we get part way and we're like, I don't know if I really like it. I don't know if I want to finish it. Maybe the intended recipient just isn't there anymore. And so we've got a stack that we need to get done and we don't know when that's going to happen. Now I have a really good example. Several years ago, I bought the Dear Jane Stickle quilt book and I set a goal to complete all 5,602 pieces, all 169 5-inch blocks, and that also includes the borders. And in my mind, it was going to be beautiful. I even have an autographed copy of the book here that I was going to be using. I was into it. I got about 30 blocks in and I realized I'm not going to finish this quilt. It just wasn't going to happen. I really felt sad about it. I felt guilty about it. And I really felt like I was a failure because the blocks that I had already made were really good. But I just didn't have time to put into the entire project. And I had to decide what to do with it. I didn't want it to go to waste, so I decided to sell it. A quilter came forward who was thrilled to get the 30 finished blocks and the book to make the rest of the blocks. She was so happy to buy it from me, and I felt I was not only monetarily compensated for my work, but I was really emotionally satisfied with my decision. So here's an idea. First of all, get that stack of UFOs out and choose 1 or 2 of your favorites from the stack to finish. And then you can either gift it or donate it. Then be recipient specific. Make sure that you know where that quilt is going to go before you get started so you have a focus. It might be a friend, it might be a charity, it might be a family member, but get someone in mind, and then once you have that person in mind and the quilt top selected, take that quilt top and set a finish date. I am going to have this quilted and bound before whatever date. That is really important. But here is the most important part. Give yourself permission to repurpose or give away the rest, and don't feel guilty about it. There's no guilt in passing a project along to someone who will finish it. It frees up your space, it frees up your energy for quilts you are excited to make, and someone is going to be really grateful to get your handiwork that they can finish and give to someone else or keep for themselves. Letter number 4 from Mistake Maker. Dear Mary, I discovered I'd sewn 2 blocks in backwards after the quilt was fully assembled. Oh, what a drag. My perfectionist side wants to fix it, but my practical side says just let it go. Signed, Mistake Maker. Okay, dear Mistake Maker, we've all done it. We've all had those mistakes, and I'm going to show you a really good example at the end of this discussion, so stay tuned. But here's my suggestion. You can go 2 ways with this. First of all, analyze what the mistake is. If the mistake doesn't affect the quilt's function, in other words, this quilt isn't going to be in a quilt show where that would be important, or it's not going to be displayed in a place of honor, maybe a wall display where it's going to be viewed and analyzed. If that is the case, you may want to reconsider and fix it. But also you have to consider, does it affect its longevity? In other words, is there a tear in the fabric or an open seam that's your mistake that can't be easily repaired? If it's not either of those 2 cases, you may simply want to just leave it. Chances are no one except for you will notice it. But some of my favorite quilts have those little oops moments, and you know, it does make them uniquely mine. And again, I'm going to show you one that is really interesting. But now keep in mind, if the mistake is obvious, such as a block or a unit within a block that has been turned in the wrong direction, and it's just too obvious to you to leave it as is, you may want to consider carefully removing it and correcting the error. If that is too difficult to do, you can always applique a shape over it or a label over the mistake. You can make do. It's most important for you to be happy with your finished quilt, and fixing a mistake can be well worth the time and the effort in the end. So I'm going to show you the mistake that I made. Several years ago, I was working on a book, and we had all of the quilts photographed for the book. The photographs were done, the quilts were all finished, they were bound, they were beautiful, and we had received them back along with the proof from the printer. When we took a look at it, this quilt right here had a huge mistake. We're going to show you the mistake right here. Can you find it? Do you see it? Oh, I was devastated. It was going to be in a book. It was in a place of honor. It was in a place where someone was going to look at it, and a block was completely flipped around. I didn't see it. Nobody saw it. The photographer didn't see it. Those proofing the book didn't see it. We didn't see it until the very end. You know what we had to do? There was no way we could redo this. We didn't have the fabric. We couldn't take it apart. Too much of a time crunch. We ended up photoshopping it and flipping the block around. You can see from this picture the difference in what happened. It probably would not have been a big deal if I was gifting this quilt to a grandchild or someone who really didn't care. They were just using it for comfort and warmth and the pretty fabrics, but it wasn't, and I had to make the correction. So you have to decide, is it worth taking the time to make the correction? Is it important enough to you? If it is, do it. You'll never be happy unless you fix it and get it to the point that it looks the way you want it to look. By the way, the quilt behind me today is from our Whirly Giggles workshop. It's all about foundation piecing and different fusibles that you can use to get this really great quilt that's behind me. The link to the workshop is in the description of this video if you're interested. And if you enjoyed today's session, please click like and subscribe to the Joyful and Merry Quilting YouTube channel so you don't miss the next one. And if you have a question or a story or a comment that you'd like to share, please send me an email at mary@joyfulandmerryquilting.com, or you can leave a comment on this video and your letter might be featured in a future or upcoming video. We love how we quilt, we are done with guilt, and we kindly don't care what others think we should do. I am always trying to be joyful, but I will always be merry. Thanks so much for joining me.